Your time starts now. Yes, the timer is off. Now, I have seen very good responses from the students. Keep on doing like this only. Now, if you take the question, which of the following is used to control pest fish? So, if you take the options, option A, pesticides, option B, herbicides, option C, ovicides, option D, predicides. So, these are the options given here. And this question was asked in SSC CGL 2020. Now, if you take one by one here, first one, if you take the herbicide, the herbicides are nothing but the chemicals that are used to kill certain weeds. So, the weeds are nothing but the undesirable or unwanted plants that grow along with crop plants. Okay, so they compete with the crop plants and they extract or they get the whatever the nutrients we are providing to the crop plant. So at the time, definitely the crop plants may not get a sufficient quantity of nutrients. So that those chemicals are called what? Herbicides, right? Then if you come to these ovicides, so the ovicides are also called insecticides. So basically the term ovicide denotes the chemicals that are used to kill the eggs of the insects. So generally the mosquitoes' eggs, in order to destroy those, so they may use gambusia fish. So this gambusia fish naturally eats away the eggs of the mosquito. So those are called ovicides. Then if you come to the predicides, so these predicides are nothing but the chemicals that are used to kill certain predators. So these predators may cause harm to the livestock, especially the cattle, buffaloes. Okay, so for this certain animals may cause harm. So in order to reduce the harm to the livestock or the cattle, so definitely some parts of the world these special chemicals are used, especially in order to kill the fox. Okay, then what to say, this owls. So like that special chemicals are used which are very deadly poisonous and they can kill those animals. So such powerful chemicals which we are using in order to kill the predators are called predicides. Okay, so then if you come to the option A, pesticides. So these pesticides are nothing but the chemicals which are used to control pest fish. So the pest which attacks the fish in aquaculture, so in order to control that or in order to reduce that, so we shall use these pesticides. Okay, so that means the pesticides are nothing but the special chemicals which can control the pest that attack the fish, right? So option A is the correct answer for the question. Okay, now get ready my dear student for the next question. Here your question is coming on the screen, so your time starts now. So the timer is off. Yes, very good from your side. Now, which of the following acids is not present in grapes? Which of the following acids is not present in grapes? So if you take this question was asked in SSC CGL 2020 and grapes. So these grapes are the very good sources of vitamin C. Okay, and it contains special acids. So if you come to this, the acids which are present generally in the grapes indicates or comes and constitutes the tartaric acid and malic acid. Okay, so different kinds of organic acids are present in the grapes. Okay, but here 90% of the acids that are present in the grapes constitutes this tartaric acid and malic acid. But if we come to the citric acid, very minute concentration of citric acid is also present in the grapes. Okay. So that's why you should not select either citric acid or tartaric acid or malic acid. Right. So here we have to choose option D as the right answer for this question. Right. Because acetic acid is nothing but acetic acid is not present in the grapes, right? So only the three acids, malic acid, tartaric acid and citric acid are present. Since the question is asked not present, right? So this grape juice are grapes which contains very important carbohydrate called glucose, and this glucose by a process called fermentation, so it will be converted into alcohol, right? So that is a process involved here, that remember fermentation. So for this an important microorganism called yeast is also required, right? So here comes your next question on the screen. Your time starts now. Yes, the timer is off. What combination of paternal chromosome results in a female? What combination of the paternal chromosomes? So it was asked in SSC MTS 2019. So the question is very clear, my dear students. Here the combination of the paternal chromosomes results in a female. We know that in human beings generally the male can be represented with XY, the chromosomal constitution, and the female can be denoted with XX. Okay. Sorry. Because here in human beings total 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes are present, right? So out of this 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes are common in both male and female. So those 22 pairs of chromosomes which are common in both male and female can be called as autosomes. And the remaining one pair, okay, which are different in both male and female. So those are called allosomes. So these allosomes are responsible for the determination of the sex, okay, in human beings. Now this one pair of allosomes in female nothing but XX, in male that is nothing but XY. Now the question is here, what combination of paternal chromosomes? So generally the male can produce sperms which are nothing but the male gametes with two types of chromosomes, either with X chromosome or Y chromosome, right? And if you come to the female can produce the ovum only with X chromosome. Now if you take the combination, if the sperm fuses with, that means the sperm which contains X chromosome fuses with the ovum with X chromosome, results in the birth of the female baby. Okay, when it combines with Y, so that leads to the birth of a male baby. That means here the female represents what? XX, and in the determination of the sex, who is participating? The male is participating, and male is responsible for the determination of the sex of the individual in human beings, right? Then here if you come, one more important bit that has to remember is in male, since the gametes are of two types, one gamete with X chromosome, another type of gametes with Y chromosome. Like that, if an organism produces more than one type of gamete, okay, so that condition is called heterozygous condition, and production of gametes like that is called heterogametic organism. Heterogametic organism. So the condition is called heterozygous. Okay, if there are two types of gametes are produced, those organisms are called heterogametic organisms, right? Whereas in human beings, the female is called homogametic or homozygous, whereas the male is heterozygous or heterogametic, right? So here now answer for the question option D, XX. Okay, whereas XY, that is for male, but here the question is, in the question it is very clearly mentioned about the female combination, okay, chromosomes combination. Clear? So the answer is option D. Now here comes your next question. Get ready, my dear students. So your question on the screen and your time starts now. Yes, the timer is off. Rotavirus vaccine is used to prevent which disease? Okay, this question was appeared in SSC MTS 2019. So the rotavirus, this rotavirus is a double-stranded RNA virus. Double-stranded. Generally, RNA viruses are single-stranded, but here it is a double-stranded. Okay, double-stranded RNA virus, and it causes a severe health problem, that is nothing but the diarrhea. Okay, so the diarrhea means severe vomiting as well as loose motion. So because of that, the child may be, especially in children that is below 5 years of age, most of the times they will be severely affected, okay, with this virus. So this virus generally lives everywhere. So it may enters through water or through contaminated food mostly, and it causes the condition called diarrhea, where the child loses more amount of salts and water, since there is continuous loose motions as well as vomitings. Okay, so that's why that means when this vaccine was not invented, so number of children, those who does not have the proper hygienic conditions may lose their lives. So in order to avoid that, the WHO, World Health Organization, has made the inactivated or heat killed or weakened vaccine which can be given through oral mode. Okay, so that's what we are calling as the rotavirus vaccine, which is a double-stranded RNA virus vaccine. Okay, now so against this double-stranded RNA virus, this vaccine was made, and since this vaccine was used in order to reduce the load of the rotavirus, it was called rotavirus vaccine, and it effectively works against the diarrhea, right? And if you come to these remaining options here, polio. So for polio, the oral polio vaccine OPV was now given. Yes, now giving. So by 1961 only, first usage of this oral polio vaccine came into existence. Then this OPV was discovered by Albert Sabin. Okay, so Albert Sabin invented this oral polio vaccine. It is also a weakened vaccine. That means the microorganisms, by using certain techniques, they gets weakened and it will be taken into the body as a vaccine, and the OPV stands for oral polio vaccine. Okay, effectively working against the virus called poliomyelitis. Then the hepatitis. So this hepatitis virus can cause damage to the liver cells, and hepatitis B vaccine, which is an outcome or the product of the biotechnology. So the biotechnology has produced this hepatitis B vaccine by using the rDNA technology, that is called recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology. Then AIDS. So for this, this AIDS disease is caused by HIV virus, human immunodeficiency virus, and the full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. But remember, my dear students, there is no vaccine for AIDS so far. So in addition to AIDS disease, even for malaria and African sleeping sickness, there is no proper vaccine so far, right? So here answer is option A, diarrhea, right? Now here comes your next question on the screen. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Yes. Which of the following disease is caused by virus? So this type of questions are very frequently asking in the SSC examination. That's why you have to be very careful regarding these questions, my dear students. Okay. So easy to crack these kind of questions, but the thing is you should have the minimum knowledge regarding this. Now, if you take the option A, typhoid, option B, cholera, option C, measles, option D, ringworm. Now option D, if you take, the ringworm is caused by the fungi. Okay. So either Microsporum or Trichoderma, the name of the fungi that causes this ringworm. Then measles. Measles is caused by paramyxovirus. Paramyxovirus. So this paramyxovirus causes this measles disease. Okay. Paramyxovirus. Now the cholera is caused by Vibrio cholerae. Vibrio cholerae is the bacteria. And typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. It is also the bacteria. Okay. So the Salmonella typhi is the bacteria that causes typhoid. Vibrio cholerae is the bacteria that causes cholera. And ringworm is caused by either Microsporum or Trichoderma of the fungi. Now answer for this question. Which of the following disease is caused by the virus? That is nothing but the measles. So this measles disease was caused by paramyxovirus, and for the first time about measles. Okay. So an Arab doctor called Abu Bakr has explained about this disease. Okay. He's an Arab doctor. According to him, this disease may be also called as a red spot disease. Red spots disease. Right? And remember, this measles virus is a RNA virus. It spreads very quickly among the children especially. Right? So that is the explanation regarding this question. Now answer is option C. Here comes your next question on the screen. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which of the following is a natural flame? Which of the following is a natural flame retardant? Natural flame retardant. Oh, this question was appeared in SSC CGL 2020. Now, if you take explanation regarding this, option A, skin, option B, flowers, option C, DNA, option D, RNA. Now, here it is a natural flame retardant. That means which can reduce. Okay, the flame, so that the burning, the intensity of burning can be reduced, or the gases that supports burning, so that those gases concentration may be reduced, so that we can stop firing. Right? So for that, a natural flame retardants are used. Among them, a very important natural retardant is nothing but this DNA. Okay. If you take the structure of DNA, the DNA contains nitrogen bases. Basically, the DNA is made up of nucleotides. Okay. The DNA is made up of nucleotides. Right. So if you take these nucleotides, generally the nucleotides are made up of a pentose sugar and a phosphate molecule, then nitrogen bases. Nitrogen bases, right? So pentose sugar contains 5 carbon atoms, that is nothing but ribose sugar, and a phosphate molecule, then nitrogen bases. So these nitrogen bases includes, there are 4 types of nitrogen bases. One is adenine, okay, the second one is guanine, and the third one is cytosine, and the fourth one is called thiamine. Okay, so in case of RNA, that is also made up of nucleotides, but the only difference between DNA and RNA is, in place of thiamine, another nitrogen base is present, which is called uracil, right? Now these nitrogen bases, that means the nitrogenous compounds and also the phosphate molecules makes, or these two components can turn this DNA as a natural flame retardant. Especially if you take these nitrogenous bases which are present in the DNA, can reduce, okay, the firing the process by making different gases that can reduce or that cannot support the process called firing, so that it can act as a natural fire retardant. Clear? So here answer is option C, and remember these also very important for you. The pentose sugar is nothing but the ribose sugar. That's why only DNA stands for deoxyribose nucleic acid, where oxygen is removed from the ribose sugar. And if you take the RNA, ribose nucleic acid, right? That means it contains oxygen. Clear? So that is the explanation regarding these two important genetic materials or nucleic acids, the DNA and RNA. Majority of the living organisms, the DNA can act as what? The genetic material, right? In most of the viruses, especially if you take the SARS-CoV-2 virus also, that causes COVID-19, contains RNA as its genetic material, right? Now here comes your next question on the screen. Get ready, my dear students. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which component performs the task of capturing oxygen in the blood? Okay, so this question was asked in SSC CGL 2020 also. So many of the students have given correct response, but here remember the 4 options. If you take red blood cells, hemoglobin, chlorophyll, white blood cells. Okay, so the component that performs the task of capturing oxygen. So in order to capture, in order to absorb oxygen that we inhale through lungs, definitely one important oxidizing pigment, that is nothing but hemoglobin is required. Remember, hemoglobin can be denoted with Hb, right? Now this Hb combines with oxygen, results in the formation of HbO2, which we are calling as oxyhemoglobin. Right? So this oxyhemoglobin is the compound that is formed when hemoglobin combines with the oxygen. But remember, my dear students, here whenever there is a formation of oxyhemoglobin, definitely the inhaled air should contain 21% of oxygen. Okay, if the 21% of oxygen is available, then this HbO2 formation occurs. If not, so there is a decrease in the blood oxygen level, which we are calling as hypoxia. Remember, this is an important term. Okay, so in this COVID pandemic disease, there is a decrease in the blood oxygen levels. Okay, so that condition where there is a low availability of oxygen in the blood or in the body to the body cells is nothing but hypoxia. Right? Now if you take the options here, option B, hemoglobin is the right answer for this question. Clear? And this hemoglobin is present on the red blood cells. Right? If hemoglobin is not there, you have to choose red blood cells. Then if we come to the C, chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll is a green colored pigment present in chloroplast. So chlorophyll is a pigment, chloroplast is a cell organelle involved in trapping solar energy, right? That's why it is a photopigment, whereas hemoglobin is a oxidizing pigment. Clear? Then white blood cells, these are the cells which are involved in fighting against the microbes, right? So option B is the correct answer for this question. And get ready for the next question. Here comes your question. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which of the following disease is not transmitted from one person to another person? So this question was asked in SSC CGL 2020. So these kind of questions are very common in SSC examination, right? Now if you take hepatitis B, that is the first option. Option B syphilis, option C cirrhosis, option D AIDS. Here if you come, the following disease is not transmitted. So what is meant by transmission? So spreading from one person to another person. Generally we can have diseases, two types here: infectious diseases, another one is contagious disease. Okay, so infectious diseases means the disease which is caused by a particular disease causing microorganism, that is either through virus or bacteria or protozoan parasite or fungi, like that. Because of a particular microorganism, the disease is caused. That is called infectious disease. Then the second type of disease is nothing but the contagious disease. That means it will be transmitted, okay, from one person to another person. Those can be called as the communicable diseases also, right? Now given options, in the given options, one disease is not transmitted from one person to another person, right? Now let us see what is that. So if you take hepatitis B, we know that hepatitis, the virus that causes damage to the liver cells, that is a disease only called a hepatitis. Since it is caused by virus, it can spread from one person to another person. That means it is a transmittable disease, right? Then if we come to the syphilis is a disease which spreads through sexual contact. That's why it is called sexually transmitted disease. Now this syphilis is caused by a bacteria that is called Treponema pallidum. So that means it spreads from one person to another person. Then if you take AIDS, it is caused by the virus called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, right? And this virus may create weakness in the immune system, and finally it leads to a disease called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Clear? Now it can be transmitted. So the disease which is not transmitted is nothing but cirrhosis. Option C is the right answer for this question. And remember, cirrhosis may be also called liver cirrhosis because of excess consumption of alcohol. Okay, so and also this liver related problems, so the liver cirrhosis occurs. Clear? So we should avoid intake of alcohol so that we can keep our liver healthy, right? Now here comes your next question. Get ready, my dear students. So your time starts now. So the timer is off. Ozone gas is present in which layer of atmosphere? So the ozone gas, okay, this question was asked in SSC MTS 2019. So we know that yes, many of the students have given correct response. So stratosphere. So this ozone gas is present in the stratosphere. So it is present in the stratosphere and protect us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation, especially the UVB type radiation, that is ultraviolet rays B type radiation, we can protect ourselves because of the presence of this ozone. We know that ozone is the combination of O2 plus O that results in O3, which is we are calling as ozone, and it will be present in the stratosphere and covers the entire blanket just like, entire universe just like a blanket. Okay, so this ozone, the thickness of ozone can be measured in a special units called Dobson. Since the Dobson is a scientist name who explained the properties of ozone, that's why the thickness can be measured in terms of Dobson. So if the thickness of ozone has gone down or reduced, that denotes the O3 gets transformed into O2 plus O. So because of that, O3 levels will be decreased in the atmosphere. So in order to conserve this ozone layer, okay, an international protocol has come into existence, that is called Montreal Protocol. So this Montreal protocol was framed in the year 1987, September 16th. That's why every year the September 16th is being celebrated as a World Ozone Day, right? Now answer is option B, stratosphere. So here comes your next question. Get ready. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Now, in which of the following type of organism autotrophic nutrition is found? So this question was asked in SSC MTS 2019. Here if you take option A fungi, option B virus, option C protozoa, option D bacteria. So here bacteria is not a autotroph. Okay. So it cannot synthesize its own food. And if you come to the protozoa, so this protozoa can also be treated as a heterotroph. Okay. So can also be treated as a heterotroph, but there are certain protozoans which can prepare their own food. Okay. For that, best example you can take is Euglena. So this Euglena, since it contains the chlorophyll, okay, it is able to prepare its own food, and it is a link between plants and animals. Clear? So that's why option C can be considered as the right answer for this question. Whereas if you take fungi, virus and bacteria, all these three are heterotrophic organisms. That means they cannot synthesize their own food. They have to depend on other organisms, right? So such kind of organisms are called heterotrophs, and the type of nutrition seen in those organisms is nothing but heterotrophic nutrition. But here protozoa, not all protozoans, some of the protozoans like Euglena can prepare its own food, right? That's why answer for this question is protozoa. We have to be very, very cautious regarding these kind of questions, my dear students. Clear? So here comes your next question on the screen. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Green revolution is related to. So this question was asked in SSC MTS 2019. So now option A, production of milk, production of jute, option C, production of coffee, option D, production of wheat. So production of milk means we know that it is called white revolution, and jute, golden fiber revolution. Golden fiber revolution. Then the production of coffee, but that particularly not there. Then the production of wheat, that means it is an agricultural product, so it can come under, or it can be placed under the green revolution. So answer is option D. The production of wheat is the term that is related to this green revolution, and we know MS Swaminathan became the father of Indian Green Revolution, and in world we can say Norman Borlaug. Norman Borlaug is treated as the father of this Green Revolution. Okay, so here answer is option D. Here comes your next question on the screen. Get ready. So your time starts now. So your time's up now. Which of the following is the primary sex organ in females? So this question was asked in SSC CGL 2020. Okay, so good responses before the timer is off from the students. Now if you take here option A vagina, option B ovary, option C uterus, option D fallopian tube. So all these parts are the female reproductive parts only, but here the question is which of the following is the primary sex organ. Okay, so what is the difference between a primary sex organ and a secondary sex organ? So the primary sex organ is there by birth. Okay, and then secondary sex organs means due to when the female or male attains maturity, due to the influence of certain hormones, certain parts, certain glands, certain organs, certain structures may be developed during adolescence period. Okay, that's why those organs or those structures are said to be what? Secondary sex organs. Now here if you take the vagina, okay, uterus, fallopian tube may undergo some sort of changes during the adolescence period in female. That's why we should not consider these three as the primary sex organs. Clear? So that's what here. Now the answer is option B, ovary. Clear? So these ovaries are present by birth. Even vagina is there and uterus is there, almost all parts. But the drastic changes, majority of the changes can be seen when the female attains maturity in these three parts: vagina, uterus and fallopian tube. That's what we have to remember here. Now answer is option B, which is a primary sex organ. Even in the males also, testis, primary sex organs. So the development of certain important male reproductive associated glands like the seminal vesicles, Cowper's glands, prostate glands can be called as the secondary sex organs. Clear? Now next question comes onto the screen. Now your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which among the following is the food tube? So this question was appeared in SSC CGL 2020. So among the following is the food tube. Food tube means through which the food is passed, right? So we know that food is passed from mouth to anus, that is alimentary canal. So this alimentary canal starts from mouth, ends with anus. Now in between mouth and anus, number of parts are present. So right from the beginning, from the mouth, next buccal cavity, then esophagus, then buccal cavity, then pharynx, then esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, like that. Okay, and finally it ends with the anus. Now here the question is the food tube, that means through which food enters into the stomach. Okay, so that is nothing but esophagus. Clear? So esophagus is the structure through which the food enters from pharynx to the stomach through this part, right? And if you take the remaining options, thymus is a gland, larynx is a part of respiratory tract that generates sounds, aorta means it is the largest or the biggest artery of the human body. Biggest artery, right? So now answer is option A. Clear? So here comes your next question. Get ready. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which micronutrients is supplied by soil to plant? So this question was appeared in SSC MTS 2019. So if you take options here, calcium, nitrogen, zinc, phosphorus. So the calcium is the mineral that is required for the proper growth of the plant. It can be provided by the soil as well as the some other sources also. Even nitrogen, if you take this, bacteria also provides this nitrogen, because plants uses nitrogen in the form of nitrates. So by using the nitrogen fixing bacteria, nitrates are available. Then if we come to the phosphorus, so this phosphorus may be because of the decomposition process. So this may be added to the plants. Now here the directly supplied by the soil to the plants, if you take zinc, option C is the right answer for this question. Clear? Option C. Get ready for the next. Your time starts now. So the timer is off. Which component of blood fights against germs that enter human body? So it was appeared in SSC MTS 2019. Here the question is the component of blood fight against germs. Okay. So in previous one of the questions also I have explained about this. Here if you take the options, option A white blood cells, option B hemoglobin, option C platelets, option D red blood cells. Okay. Now hemoglobin, we know it helps in the carrying of oxygen and carbon dioxide. It carry oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin, carbon dioxide in the form of carbaminohemoglobin, right? Then if you come to the red blood cells, which contains the hemoglobin and responsible for the carrying of oxygen. Then if you take platelets, the platelets are nothing but thrombocytes. They play a vital role in the clotting of blood. Clear? Now the answer for this question is white blood cells. Okay, option A, white blood cells are responsible for the killing of microorganisms that invade along with the major routes present in our body, either through skin or through food or through water or whatever may be that way. If they enter into the body, those will be restricted or killed by the white blood cells. We know that there are two types of WBC, granulocytes, agranulocytes. The granulocytes includes acidophils, basophils and neutrophils. Then the agranulocytes includes lymphocytes and monocytes. So granulocytes means acidophils, basophils and neutrophils. Here agranulo, lymphocyte and monocytes, right? So that's all. Thank you.